Welcome, everybody. I am here today with Walter Pollard of the consultancy Brand Fusion out of the Washington, D.C. area. And we're here today, 1 week after the Sales Enablement Society's annual conference, a big deal. Thousands of people gathered in Dallas last week. And I want to talk to Walter because Walter because he was one of the people who helped put the event together, played a big role, very involved in the Sales Enablement Society, which is a new membership organization that is catching on like wildfire in the B2B community. And Walter is very involved in it as the organization grows. So welcome, Walter.
Thank you, Josh. Glad to be here.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat today. What I want to know and what the listeners, the people watching this video want to know is sales enablement's been around for a long time. You know, it's the term has been increasingly searched for, increasingly talked about, but it's changed, it's evolved, and it's been a little bit unclear what it is. So where we are today, coming out of the Sales Enablement Society's conference, what is sales enablement?
Yeah. So great question. In fact, we are working on a definition draft through the Sales Enablement Society conference because there is not one definition of sales enablement. You talk to 10 different people, 10 different practitioners, you get 10 different definitions. Just to simplify it today, I would say I would look at sales enablement really to increase the effective and efficiency and really enhance the productivity of the sales rep to really increase revenue for the company. And that's really handled through a variety of factors. That could be training, content, front-facing content for the prospect, customers, clients, messaging, right messaging, and being able to really gather that analytical data to really see what's working and what's not. So it's really a combination of things. But again, we go back to really enhancing that productivity of the sales rep to increase revenue for the company.
That's a good bottom line to talk about it from, is anything that enhances the use of the productivity of a sales rep. Because one of the challenges that I've seen with small and mid-sized companies is that they're so streamlined, so busy trying to make sales and make their operation more efficient. Anything with the slightest hint of extraneousness falls by the wayside. So is it at the point where you can walk into the CMO, VP of sales, CEO of a company and say, let's have a conversation about sales enablement? Is it mainstream enough where they'll say, that's exactly what we're looking for?
I would say that they are learning what sales enablement is. If you went in and trying to gain traction for sales enablement for your organization 2 years ago, you would have got a blank stare. What are you talking about? What is this? Today, they would have heard the term in many cases, but they truly don't have a good understanding in many cases, what it is, how it works. There's individuals I talk to all the time that are actually doing different levels of sales enablement, and they don't even know they're doing it. So the key thing, I think, to have success, to go into that VP of sales, VP of marketing, and you really need to get to the C-level executive. Because I think it's very important to elevate the role of sales enablement because it's very strategic in nature. So I would say you really have to be more educational and informative what sales enablement is, and really what does it mean to the bottom line of the organization. So again, educating that C-level executive, the VP of sales, the benefits to them, the VP of marketing, and I'm glad you brought that up because you very much need that marketing sales alignment I believe, to be successful at sales enablement. That's what's important. Many cases, they're willing to listen today, but they truly don't understand it.
Now, where's the dividing line today? You said, sales enablement is very strategic, needs to be elevated to the C-suite, get it on their radar, build their understanding, build their buy-in. But a lot of the tactics and tools are very tactical, day to day. Where's the line right now? How is it the attention to sales enablement being allocated, and where should it be? Strategic versus tactical.
Yeah, so great question. I mean, I just mentioned a moment ago, there's individuals within an organization that are doing specific things in regards to sales enablement. They may be more tactical in nature. They may be doing a one-off where they're, just as example, and this is a very small piece of enablement, they may putting together a lead scoring system for the organization through the CRM. They may be clarifying better what is a marketing qualified to a sales qualified lead, some tactical components to that. But for sales enablement to be truly effective, you really have to think from a strategic perspective, because you're dealing with individuals today, as in the reps case, the profound thing we're seeing again and again, it's becoming more and more difficult for the reps to sell. Okay. We all know that the buyers become more educated and informed. We've all heard this 1,000 different times, but we're moving at the speed of light with the digital transformation in today's economy. And how can companies stay up? And it's very difficult for them to stay up without being strategic and putting a strategy in place to really start to align marketing and sales, as an example, and
in a systematic way.
Right. Having that sales enablement team together, that as example, that can bring them to the table, where you could have put together a service level agreement where you can have common goals based upon your objectives and to be able to measure them. Another important part, why it has to be strategic, I believe, has to be tied to revenue. Sales enablement needs to be tied to revenue, and I believe marketing now needs to be tied to revenue. So you're combining those efforts, and that's why it needs to be so strategic in nature, thinking about, your revenue growth. Really, that's what it comes down to. And what are your KPIs? What are you looking to achieve? And strategically, how you go about doing that. Yes, it will get tactical at points, but you have to have that right strategy in place. And today I'm seeing where a lot of organizations where they are starting to take on sales enablement, they may have a tendency to really think about from a perspective of not so much putting a lot of attention into the strategy, but as example, they could put it more in a technology because they've heard, well, there's sales enablement technologies out there that can make our reps better at finding content, for example. Well, that's not going to do them any good. It has to be strategic from a perspective of your customers, your prospects, down to the personas, and how are you going to actually meet their needs through the whole pipeline. That's what's really important. And I know marketing's starting to get more involved in the pipeline, those deeper stages of the pipeline, more towards the bottom of the funnel. That's vitally important. That's more strategic.
So what kind of attendees showed up at the Sales Enablement Society's conference? What kind of conversations were happening?
Right. Great question. So attendee-wise, you had sales enablement practitioners. So I would say there was a number of organizations there that are at the enterprise level, but you'd also have mid-market. So you had practitioners, you had a VP of sales, you had sales trainers, you had sales consultants, you had VP of marketing, you had marketing consultants, you had researchers like Serious Decisions there. You had educators like Dr. Howard Dover actually spoke at UD Dallas, and he is like at the cutting edge of implementing programs now for actual sales programs in a university type setting, which I think is fantastic. So it's really across the board. Commonality, I would say, based upon questions, that people today, individuals today, in many cases are still trying to figure this out. They're coming with the question, what can I find out today that can really help me?
Hmm.
I'm having challenges every single day, and I'm trying to move the needle, and I need to come up with solutions very quickly, you know, to be
Right.
able to do this. So it's really, even though I would say the Sales Enablement Society is pretty advanced with a lot of members in the organization, Sales Enablement is so new that many individuals are still trying to figure it out, so to speak.
Okay. So I know that there was more than great content at the event. You had a lot of really interesting conversations. What were some of the stories you heard about how people are leveraging sales enablement strategies, tools, and tactics to move the needle at their organization?
Yeah, so I'd say I believe companies are really starting to align. So the common theme is at the show, how do we get marketing and sales to align better? So there were some case studies, there were conversations around how different organizations were beginning to align marketing and sales. Um, and what they were doing to align it, in some cases they were creating one division, whereas instead of marketing and sales, marketing sales division, um, where true alignment's really starting to take place. From a strategic objective, I believe the companies that are really at the cutting edge of this are really thinking, as I call it, based upon the four pillars. This is what my personal belief is. Again, I spoke about a moment ago. To be effective at sales enablement, you have to have, of course, the front-facing content that is a value add to the customer to provide value to them. Again, this is not selling a solution, but again, providing value. But as well, having the content-wise from a training component, your onboarding process for training the sales reps. How can you onboard better, quicker? How can you have ongoing training content in today's digital economy as the buyer is quickly evolving and changing, where it can meet the needs of the sales reps on a daily basis, where they can be more effective and efficient in the sales process? How can we get messaging now to be more consistent, so when we put our message out, we don't have 10 different messages based upon 10 different sales reps? And again, having the technology stack and the analytical data where it provides the value, where marketing and sales can truly look at that data and what's really moving the needle and what they need to do from a metrics perspective to really evolve and enhance their sales enablement strategies. I would also say a lot evolved around where new technologies in the arena. So there's different companies out there like a ClearSlide, sales enablement solutions that can be highly effective for organizations, again, as long as they have a strong sales enablement strategy, that are great to integrate, as I call, in the technology stack or the growth stack with your marketing automation tools, your CRM systems, and now you integrate a sales enablement solution that can be of value within the means of for the rep. So there was a lot around that marketing and sales alignment piece and what different companies are beginning to do to have success within the arena, whatever that may be.
That's interesting. I think a lot of companies are practicing sales enablement and have the strategies and tools in place, but they may not be calling it that. It's really
Yes.
interesting. So where's this going? A year from now, 5 years from now, what kind of trends came out of the conference that you're going to keep an eye on over the next few years?
Yeah. So first, start where's it going? My belief, and we had a number of conversations with the conference. Really, I think the core belief is we're at very early stages with this. I mean, sales enablement evolved started really around 2005 in the enterprise arena, but it wasn't completely adopted. Um, Again, we begin to hear this term within the last 2 to 3 years, a great deal more. I think we're in the early stages of the first inning with sales enablement. I think trend-wise, I think it's going to grow rapidly. It's really evolving into enterprise arena. I think it's going to move to mid-market, and it will move to smaller companies as well of a certain size. And I think it's going to have to, because again, as we talk about how sophisticated the buyer is becoming, the challenges sales are facing, and how they need to find new ways to sell, and they need the backing of the organizations to help them and elevate their roles. I think sales enablement could be very important, because one thing you find, if you put together strong sales enablement strategies, there's a lot of information out there, whether it's increase in quota attainment, decrease in the actual sales cycle, you know, improving the reps' ability to retain information, amongst many other things. It really gives you the ability to potentially increase revenue for your company. If that occurs, if people start to effectively use this the right way and really align marketing and sales, and have someone within the organization that is in the role of sales enablement, they can bring them together, I think there's a great opportunity for organizations to grow, and we're seeing that out there now. So I just think there's going to be huge growth in the arena in the next several years.
That's really good to hear. This has been a fascinating conversation. Where can people learn more about you and the Sales Enablement Society?
Sure. What they want to learn about me, I have a marketing and sales consultancy, and we have a core focus on sales enablement.
Where can they find you?
Yes, brandfusion.com. So that's brand like a brand, BRAND, and fusion is FUZ, like in zebra, ION as in Nancy.com. And be more than happy if anyone has any questions about this, be more than happy to share information and have conversations with people who are interested in learning more about sales enablement. The society, they can go to the salesenablementsociety.org. It's SESEsociety.org. Right now we have a community-based website. We will be building out a new website. And right now we have about 2,000 or just a little over 2,000 members on the Sales Enablement Society. We've got about 32 to 33 chapters around the world. We're growing rapidly, and you can join for free. And again,
that's great.
Many people that are in this, it's just not practitioners, salespeople, it's marketers. People in business, could be HR, because HR is taking more of a role, wants to learn about sales. Of course, when it comes hiring sales reps. So it could be a variety of type of individuals in specific roles in different industries. So we'd love to have you come, and it's a very open-ended community where we're sharing a lot of information, and we look forward to having conversations with you.
Perfect. I've seen it. It's getting more active by the day with people who are very passionate about helping each other bring this into their companies. So Walter, my good friend, thank you very much for your time today, giving us the update on the conference and where sales enablement is in the business landscape. And we'll follow up with you for an update in the future.
Josh, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Take care.